approximately 1 hour 45 minutes altogether, all right? The final stop, of course, will not be back at the Batyányi Square where we came from, but instead at the Royal Palace. As you will see as we move along, there is a bus line, well, technically two, but it's the same thing, in the Castle District, number 16 and number 216. If you take that bus after the tour, it takes you straight back to the center of the Pest side across the chain bridge. So basically, once you are done visiting the Castle District, either immediately after the tour or much later, you can just take this bus. I will show you where and how, and it drops you off on the Pest side in like 15 minutes. Okay, so it's a very convenient little bus line, but again, more about that later. If you already did our morning tour, then you know what's coming in the next couple of minutes, because we need to talk a little bit about history. The Castle District is one of the oldest historical parts of Budapest, so of course history will be a very relevant thing throughout our tour several times. So it's important that we are all on the same page when it comes to history. So here comes about 1100 years of oversimplified Hungarian history in about 5 minutes. All right, we start at the year of 896, end of the 9th century. 896 was the year when the first Hungarian tribes, 7 nomadic Hungarian tribes, arrived to this region. This region is what we call the Carpathian Basin. So we arrived in 896, but where did we come from? The old Hungarians came from the Ural Mountains. The Ural Mountains nowadays you can find in Russia. They are the natural border between Europe and Asia. That's where we came from, and after a few centuries arrived in 896, as I said, as an alliance of 7 nomadic tribes, these horse-riding, bow and arrow kind of pagan heathens, you know. And we didn't exactly settle down at first. For the next 100 years after our arrival, we kept our old nomadic lifestyle. We became mercenaries of Europe and kept raiding and pillaging and looting all across the continent. We had great fun doing so. But after a while, our neighbors said, okay, enough is enough. They gathered their forces and beat us in battle a few times. So the old Hungarians realized if they want to stay in Europe and they want to survive doing so, they need to change their lifestyle drastically. The biggest change in our lifestyle was taking up Christianity. The year was exactly 1000, easy one to remember. In the year 1000, our very first Christian king, Stephen, who later became Saint Stephen, came to power, converted the Hungarians to Christianity, and founded this new Christian kingdom, the Kingdom of Hungary. Fast forward a few centuries, and now we are in the 13th century, or the 1200s if you like. In the middle of the 13th century, we got some visitors from the east. These guys were the Mongols, or the Golden Horde as they were also called back then. The Mongols came here, spent about 2 years here in Hungary, and then they left. By the way, have you heard about this fella called Genghis Khan before? Well, it was not him because he was already dead by this point, but one of his many, many grandsons